off the subway platform on.
Tonight, it's like something straight out of a horror movie. An unbelievable kidnapping case. Parents, both well-respected, successful engineers, accused of suddenly kidnapping their own young sons and sailing with them in a boat to Cuba. Was this couple spiraling into madness? Good evening, I'm Jane Velez Mitchell. Thanks for joining me.
My son-in-law kidnapped my two grandchildren.
Joshua and Sharon Haken waking up in a Florida jail facing state charges of kidnapping and child neglect.
The State Department received information that they were actually in Cuba.
I see a boy playing on the top deck. I saw Josh Haken get out of the boat. You know, he asked me who I was. I said it was an American reporter. He confirmed who he was and then immediately got back in the boat.
I can easily see it that she was taken advantage of. I know that her overall goal is just to get her kids back. She's blaming herself for putting her kids through what they went through, putting herself through what she went through, her family, what they went through.
Tonight, stunning new video of the couple whispering and hugging inside the jail holding cell. But could there now be a rift between these two because of a new lover? Cops say Sharon and Joshua Haken believe the government was trying to use mind control on them and poison their food. And the only way to save their family, including their 2- and 4-year-old sons, was to escape the United States by taking a sailboat on the high seas to Cuba. The catch? They had already lost custody of their 2 young boys, so they had to kidnap the 2 kids from their own grandparents. They tied Grandma up, and she frantically called 911.
911, what is your emergency? Yes, my son-in-law kidnapped my two grandchildren. They've been in my state custody.
What happened behind closed doors that made these parents, and you look at this guy's eyes, both highly trained engineers with seemingly picture-perfect family, allegedly snap? We have a fantastic Lion's Den debate panel tonight, including the attorney for the mother of the 2 little boys, as well as TV and radio host Michael Billy. But first, we got to start with the psychotherapist, Tiffany Davis Henry. Dr. Tiff, how the heck do 2 seemingly normal, successful engineers, homeowners, well-liked by their neighbors, who appeared to dote on their kids, allegedly, all of a sudden, both go crazy together?
Well, it's not uncommon for people to have a separate life or a life that no one else knows about. And remember, they complained of, or at least he did, paranoia, which when you're paranoid, Jane, you don't tell anybody what's going on upstairs. So paranoia in and of itself kind of makes people retreat and pull back and not expose all the things that are going on with them, except for that one person that you trust. And it seems like they were leaning kind of on each other with whatever paranoid delusions they had.
Well, this whole saga, and it is so wild, if you put it in a movie, people would say, oh, that's too crazy. But it erupted last year. Cops are suddenly called to a Louisiana hotel. And they say this family of 4, those 2 with the kids, holed up inside a hotel room, surrounded by drugs and guns, and that these 2, Joshua and Sharon, were rambling. And here's some quotes about completing their ultimate journey and saying they were traveling across the country to take a journey to the Armageddon. That sounds bizarre. After that, they were arrested. The boys were put temporarily in foster care. And guess what? The dad, Joshua, tries and fails to kidnap his sons from the foster family at gunpoint, allegedly. And then the boys are moved to their maternal grandparents' home. They've tried to provide a normal life for the 2 boys. Listen to this.
You just take one step at a time. Our focus has been on getting those boys. Now our focus is making sure that we go forward and they can lead a normal life.
But then the dad, Joshua, allegedly kidnaps the boys from the maternal grandparents. And that's when they all get in a boat and go to Cuba, where they were caught. All right, straight out to the Lion's Den. Listen, we've got an extraordinary guest tonight. We've got the attorney for the woman, the mother, Sharon Haken. Brian Camerino, thank you for joining us. Let's go back to the beginning and try to solve this. These are 2 seemingly successful engineers, homeowners, middle class, no history of crime, no criminal record. Why do the cops decide to burst into this hotel where they happen to be staying in Louisiana with their kids and discover them acting crazy, allegedly?
Well, first of all, I wanted to thank you for having me on the show, and you're correct. I do represent Mrs. Haken, and she has a master's degree in engineering, a wonderful mother, wonderful wife. And what prompted this all was that she had a blackout in Louisiana. She was involuntarily placed in a mental hospital, and so for about a week there, she was not knowing what was going on with her son, her sons had no idea what had happened to them. And then when she was released from the hospital is when she discovered that they had been placed in foster care.
Well, okay, we just got a statement for the attorney for the dad, this guy with the wild eyes and the beard. Okay, Josh Haken. He said they were happily married, successful, professional engineers with absolutely no criminal record or history with the Department of Children's Services when, and this is from the attorney, on a family road trip, they spend the night in Louisiana, quote, when they woke up in the morning, Sharon was in a mental hospital, Joshua was in jail, and the two little boys had been taken by the state. All of this over an allegation of personal use of marijuana. The only justification upon which the government took these children from their loving, caring parents was solely the misdemeanor possession of marijuana. A straight out to the lion's den. Anna Yum, criminal defense attorney. So the dad is trying to make it seem like they're not crazy.
Yeah,
they're
just so you know,
hallucinating. They're not
CPS is the one
acting
that
in a
causes
bizarre
all
fashion.
this.
They were smoking pot, and somehow the cops end up taking the kids away. Do you buy it?
Jay, let me just say this. First of all, I've been handling drug cases as a former prosecutor and as a defense attorney. Smoking pot does not cause this kind of reaction. Smoking pot alone will not cause this bizarre behavior. I mean, if anyone is questioning whether they were mentally ill at the time, just look at a photo of their mugshots, and I think that would eliminate all doubt. Okay, what we're talking about are so many bizarre statements. I mean, I know that Sharon Haken was saying that she was a ninja in the witness protection program, and that he had to beat her to beat out evil spirits. I mean, at this point, Jane, I'm questioning not only whether they were legally sane or insane at the time, but their mental competence to stand trial. It's just bizarre. It could be a movie.
So this is not a case, in your opinion, of some parents smoking a little weed and getting a case of the munchies, that this is far more serious. According to court documents, cops found in the Haken's home, the couple was paranoid. They thought the government was, quote, using mind control initiatives. They also thought the government was hacking their computers, drugging their food, and launching microwave radiation weapon attacks against them. Okay, with that, we must go back into the lion's den. Michael Billy, you know, this is an era of surveillance, and there is so
the government is controlling your minds,
people. Surrounding government surveillance programs, how much snooping Uncle Sam is really doing on us, vis-a-vis all sorts of smartphones, computers, etc. Do you think these controversies are actually working their way into hallucinations and paranoid fixations?
That's what the government wants.
The list goes on, and it's made its way to water cooler discussions and what people talk around the coffee table. But by no means is the average person going to the extent and prolonged experience that this couple has gone through. I mean, smoking weed does not do something like this. If it were to be a drug, it would have to be some heavy-grade narcotic to cause this type of break in somebody's system. Look, and I speak as somebody who has used drugs and had a history of mental illness. I've been in rehabilitation several times, and this case looks to me like somebody who is experiencing an incredible bout of mental illness that hasn't really been addressed.
Well, Brian Claypool, criminal defense attorney, can they mount, do you think, a successful defense saying, look, we're good parents, we have no criminal record, family services has never been called, we're engineers, we're on a trip to Louisiana, yeah, we had some pot, but and weapons, but I mean, look how many people walk around with weapons in this country, and look how many people smoke pot. Do you think they could perhaps launch a successful defense saying they weren't doing anything really out of the ordinary and their kids were taken from them without warrant?
Jane, absolutely. I mean, they're paranoid because they think the government came in and took their kids without any probable cause. I actually have a case out here in California against Orange County Child Protective Services where a child was taken. And I got so many emails after that from people across the country where they're telling me, hey, CPS services have taken my child. They don't have evidence. And I found out that in some states, there is a financial incentive for CPS to take